We are now joined by some of the most eminent leaders in Indian real estate who will share their insights on real estate buyers' sentiments and investors' confidence. Let's dive into this engaging discussion. Please join me, everybody, in welcoming to our stage our esteemed chair for this exclusive conversation, Ghulam Zia, Senior Executive Director, Research, Advisory, Infrastructure and Valuation at Knight Frank, India. Give it up loudly for Mr. Ghulam Zia. He has a vast experience across the entire gamut of real estate services, valuations, consulting, transactions, and project management, and he's certainly an expertise. He holds an expertise in the true sense of the term. Thank you so much. He'll be joined on stage by Amber Maheshwari, CEO, India Bulls Investment Management Limited. Amber brings with him substantial deal-making and structuring experience in the real estate sector. Prior to joining India Bulls AMC, Amber was associated with JLL as Managing Director, where he successfully ran 5 businesses, including corporate, finance, education, healthcare, and social housing, special development initiatives, and infrastructure as well. Can I please request all of you to clap loudly for Mr. Amber over here as well? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have with us Mr. Girish Singhi, Co-Chief Investment Officer, Welspun One. He's a seasoned professional in private equity, real estate, PERA with over 15 years of experience. He has a comprehensive understanding of the entire cycle of fund and investment management, including acquisitions, asset management, operations, and divestment across all major real estate asset classes such as residential, commercial, hospitality, warehousing, and data centers. Can I please request all of you to clap loudly for Mr. Girish as well over here? Thank you. We also have with us Charu Thapar over here, ED Property and Asset Management, Asia Pacific, Head Strategy Platform and Emerging Markets, JLL as well. Charu ma'am has over 27 years of experience in real estate and more than 2 decades in the field of asset and property management. Charu ma'am mentors key emerging markets to provide delivery solutions to clients, promote technology, increase market presence in the PropTech space, strengthen cross-border collaborations, and foster stronger partnership with clients to provide further efficiencies and quality services. Give it up for Charu ma'am as well, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, as I request all of you. We also have with us Mr. Sunil Rohkale, Managing Director and CEO, ASK Asset and Wealth Management Group. Mr. Sunil, the Managing Director and CEO of ASK Asset and Wealth Management Group since 2008 and a board member since 2012, brings over 2 decades of banking and finance experience, including a significant tenure at ICICI Bank in the past as well. His educational background includes an engineering degree from the University of Pune and an MBA. Sunil's expertise in finance and strategic vision plays a crucial role in propelling ASK Group forward. Please give it up loudly for Mr. Sunil as well, please, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, the stalwarts are here. Can I please request all of you to take your seat as I welcome you over here? Thank you. And it's over to them. Let's hear it once again for them. Give them a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, please. Can I please request people at the back to clap? We got a lot of clapping to do today. We have felicitations, we have awards, so we need that energy in the house. Thank you. And on that note, I pass it over to you, sir.
And thanks a lot, Realty Plus, for inviting us over here. I'm sure this is a great honor, not just for I, but all of us to be on this platform. So Realty Plus, thank you so much. Well, but there it starts, the confusion. And that's exactly what I was talking to the organizers about. You know, these, at least I don't count myself, the rest of them, on an average 30 years of WorkX. On this stage, you have 125 plus years of WorkX, and they are given 30 minutes to talk. Can you imagine? Individually, if you sit with them, you can engage with them for hours together, लेकिन हमें आज 30 मिनट मिले हैं. तो चले ठीक है, उस 30 मिनट का पूरी तरह से फ़ायदा उठाने की कोशिश करते हैं. The subject that is given to us to talk about is about sentiments. And like last 2-3 decades we have been looking at, when we talk about Indian real estate, what actually comes on top? A few oldies may say, you know, location, 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 but to me it's sentiments. What drives this industry in this country is sentiments. You know, that's where you can't explain why a few properties could be 150,000 rupees a square feet, now even in Gurgaon. And what is the reason? And same, आप 2 किलोमीटर परे चले जाइए, आपको शायद 50,000 रुपए स्क्वायर फीट पे भी प्रॉपर्टी आसानी से मिल जाए. So this is what it is, absolute mystery. And those who are sitting over here are, of course, lot of them also know about it. तो ज़्यादा बकवास ना करें उस बारे में, सीधे सीधे चले आएँ. मैं शुरुआत करना चाहूँगा सर आपसे, सुनील. आपका जो तजुर्बा है, चाहे वो बैंकिंग हो, HFC, हाउसिंग फाइनेंस हो, and sheer real estate development. मेरा ख्याल है हम सब में सबसे ज़्यादा तजुर्बेकार आप ही हैं यहाँ पर, तो आपसे शुरुआत करना बनता है. So I would love to hear from you कि currently जो sentiments, अब शायद आज मुझसे कोई पूछ भी रहा था कि भाई कहाँ जाके रुकेगी ये जो कुछ भी चल रही है, कि where would there ever be an end. मैंने कहा क्यों इतने बेसब्रे हो रहे हो यार, 15 साल बाद तो ये अच्छा वक्त आया है, थोड़ा 2-5 साल चलने दो इसे, क्यों इसे नज़र लगा रहे हो. तो आपसे मैं समझना चाहूँगा कि व्हाट इज़ योर पर्सपेक्टिव, आपको कितना और साल ये बुल रन चलता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है.
मुझे लगता है कि I think this is, you have actually touched very critical topic to my mind. यही सेंटिमेंट के यही सवाल 2002 से 2008 तक आते थे. तो ये जब सेंटिमेंट की बातें आती है तो स्मेल टेस्ट करना चाहिए. स्मेल टेस्ट इज द बेस्ट टेस्ट फॉर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, एंड हेंस, एंड आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू, इज द smell test so positive what we have seen in 2007 to 2008? Maybe the answer is yes. But why is so? What is the difference between that smell test and this smell test? Few differences. That day, the developers were funded by customer advances. Today, and those were investor customer advances. Today, the developers are funded by few left prudent lenders and largely by the end customers. The developers that time were largely busy in land banking. Today, the developers are not doing land banking. Last time, and in the morning I said to someone, आपने वो movie, आपने वो वेब सीरीज देखी होगी नवाजुद्दीन की, जहाँ सेक्रेट गेम्स में वो बोलता है, कभी कभी लगता है अपुनज भगवान है. That was the sentiment of 2002 to 2008. Today, the sentiment is, उसमें एक डायलॉग अभी भी था, त्रिवेदी बचेगा. So the fact here is, there was no fear of God, or God himself. There is a fear of RERA, which is next to God. Second point, today, the cranes are moving. Those days, the flags were flying high. There was no delivery. And hence, this sector, that time as a lender, as a heading the ICICI Bank's mortgage division, we, in my lifetime, lowest was some 6.5, 6.75. Potentially that number will come, it has tested and it will come again. Very soon it will come again, maybe in 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 5 quarters, it will be there. Today we are maybe at 8.5, 9%. We may go down to something like that number, maybe in a couple of years' time. So, but developers' life has not changed in this country. Whether it is a 7%, GSEC is 6%, his cost of capital is going to be 15, 18, 20 and 22%. The reason is inelastic. So interest rate, inflation has nothing to do with Indian real estate, because the delta residual risk in this particular business is over and above any of the cost of capital calculations. And hence I feel this time the smell test is positive, but this time it is, some change is there. There are 1/3 are completely injured. They are retired, hurt. There are, the rest 1/3 are in dugout. And only 1/3 are playing the match, full-fledged. The large is getting larger. Another fundamental change has happened is that deleveraging of balance sheets have happened. So technically speaking, borrowing, how much you borrowed was a competition. Today, how much is less you borrowed is the pride. And hence, my sense is that I am part of these positive sentiments. The only rotten smell can come in when, and मैं हमेशा सोचता हूँ, शोले में एक कॉइन हुआ करता था, जय और वीरू के पास में. वो कॉइन करने के बाद में उसमें हेड ही आता था हमेशा, बिकॉज उसमें एक ही रिजल्ट था. हमारी इंडस्ट्री में भी ऐसा एक कॉइन है जो सबके पास में है. यहाँ बैठे हुए कोई भी स्टेक होल्डर हो, उसमें एक ही साइड है, ग्रीड. एंड अगर फियर का कॉइन का साइड नहीं है, तो माय फ्रेंड्स, आई ओनली फियर अबाउट द अफोर्डेबिलिटी, द प्राइस इंक्रीजेस एंड द इरेशनलिटी. Without that, I don't see we have really a trouble. We are actually designed to grow, and we grow in the night, because when the politicians sleep. So my sense is that whatever difficulty we have, Zia, my personal view is, at least if the rationality prevail, we are here for long. We may not see the enthusiasm, 3 lakh homes 15 years back we sold. Maybe this year we sold 4 lakh, 5 lakh, whatever that number could be. Whether we will sell the same enthusiasm, when you will have the same news that people are standing in a queue, those artificial articles may not be there, and that is not even required. That enthusiasm surely will come down, but I personally feel the few, the large, the reputed, the transparent, the disclosure focused by choice are the only developer, and only customers will choose those developers. And that's what I am personally, as an investor of the real estate, I'm optimistic.
Great. तो ये एक बात शायद बाकी पैनलिस्ट के लिए कुछ बचा नहीं बोलने के लिए ना, मुझे तो ऐसा लग रहा है। इन्होंने बॉलीवुड से लेके नेटफ्लिक्स से लेके रियल एस्टेट तक सब कवर कर दिया है, अपनिश भगवान है, सब हो गया है। अभी क्या बचा हमारे लिए? चलो फिर भी चूंकि बैठे हैं, और मैं सोच रहा था कि 30 मिनट, आपने तो 3 मिनट में निपटा दिया। सो नाउ चारू, आई हैव बीन रीडिंग the sentiment index that JLL covers, the consumer side sentiment index, with a lot of interest. मेरा ख्याल है आपका अभी जो latest है शायद अगले चंद दिनों में आने वाला है. So if you can preempt it, I'm sorry to ask you for this. I'm sorry, but because it's a subject. और सब्जेक्ट में जो सप्लाई साइड डायनेमिक्स हैं वो तो सुनील कवर कर चुके हैं, जो इन्वेस्टर साइड है, डेवलपर साइड है. अभी एक्चुअली जिसे हम सदियों से जानते हैं कि जो कंज्यूमर है वो भगवान है, उन्होंने कहा बिल्डर भगवान है. हम चाहते हैं आप बताएं कि कंज्यूमर के माइंडसेट में क्या है, सेंटिमेंट्स कैसे चल रहे हैं. क्या कंज्यूमर आज दोबारा, लोग सुनते तो हैं कि गुड़गांव में लोग लाइन लगा के ख़रीद रहे हैं, मुंबई में भी कई सारे हैं, शायद पता नहीं गोदरेज वाले हैं, ये 1-2 लोग हैं जो करते हैं कि बाहर लाइनें लगी हुई हैं. आप बता पाओगे आपको क्या लगता है, इज़ इट रियली फॉर रियल? और जैसा सुनील जी कह रहे हैं कि समवेयर वी नीड टू बी कॉशियस कि वो ग्रीड शुड नॉट बी ओवरपावरिंग दिस साइड ऑफ भगवान. व्हाट्स योर व्यू?
सो जो आपने हमारी रिपोर्ट के बारे में बोला वो एम्बार्गो है, वो अगले हफ्ते रिलीज़ होने वाली है, तो मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूँगी. बट बिफोर आई आंसर, आई डू वांट टू कॉम्प्लीमेंट रियल्टी प्लस फॉर completing 20 years. I think it's extremely special, especially being in the print media. We've seen magazines such as National Geographic shut their print operations, so congratulations Realty Plus team, and thank you for keeping the cause going. I think whenever they reach out to any one of us for contributions, we always look forward to the articles they come out with. So thanks and congratulations again. मैं sentiments के बारे में I will add on from his side. I think they look extremely positive. When you look at people and their aspirations, it is the growing middle class. It is the people moving into the large cities, which is driving the demand in the large cities, at least first tier and second tier cities. And also look at the launches, right? If we talk of Mumbai itself, half the launches, they come into the market with 25-30% pre-sold inventory. Right? Or at least that's what they say. Maybe it's a marketing gimmick, who knows? Maybe that's what we need to be careful about. And they've held the prices. I think in the last quarter, you may have seen a little bit of slowing down of the sentiment, but that could be attributed to so many things. We had elections, we had the monsoon budget, we had the confusion on indexation and all of that. And now the festival seasons will start. My belief is that the momentum will continue in the housing segment. With regard to commercial, we all know it is a favored asset class. There are not enough assets for the foreign capital to come and invest in, right? The REITs have proven themselves. Inka asset class, warehousing, logistics, doing phenomenally well. And yesterday I attended a conference in which they said hotels is doing very well. First time ever they've seen over $450 million of investments after many, many years. So I think the sentiment overall is extremely buoyant.
Very good. So you have broad-based it, what we had started with residential, because Sunil was focusing on residential. You brought in a few words, you added the other asset classes also. I will keep that warehousing thing for you last to come. उससे पहले ज़रा हम इनको थोड़ा और परेशान करें, क्योंकि रेसिडेंशियल की बात चली रही है, तो रेसिडेंशियल पे थोड़ा और once again from Indiabulls perspective, whether it was earlier the home loan segment or your own perspective, you are here for almost 3 decades and you have been on various sides of it, from the advisory side to now the funding side, etc. So just to conclude that, before we go on this asset class, which I will have separate focus on, residential की बात चल रही है, आपका भी काफ़ी सारा उस पर view है, और in any case, even media etc. loves to talk about residential because 80% of out of 180 square feet is residential. तो अगर 80% वो है तो typical 80-20 perspective. थोड़ा और बात कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद दूसरे asset class पे आएंगे, थोड़ा वक्त और बचा हुआ है. तो आपका perspective क्या है? Is this entire sentiment that we are talking about, the two of earlier speakers have spoken about it, आपको भी लगता है, हालांकि सुनील जी were very what should I say, cautious and making a few statements which perhaps if the media guys would be here would pick it up for the headlines. लेकिन आप उतना headline ना सोचते हुए फिर भी reality क्या है? If you can also add your perspective.
No, so I think sentiment is a collective, right? It is contagious. एक चीज़ जब होती है तो दूसरा देख करके, you talk about the same things. And over time, I think last 20 years, what we've seen, each market is behaving in a similar fashion. जैसे 4 मार्केट जो हुआ करते थे, कैपिटल का, बुलियन का, स्टॉक मार्केट्स और रियल एस्टेट, ये अलग अलग साइकिल्स हुआ करती थी. I am of the view that it is a cyclical market, it is a cyclical industry, there will be a cycle that will come. Currently we are in a positive cycle, everything is positive. I mean, if you look at the macroeconomic fundamentals of India, we are one of the very few countries in the world jahan pe everything seems to be great. Right, from current account deficit to GDP growth rate to the overall debt levels, the consumption patterns, everything looks great compared to, inflation, all of those things, right? So on the one hand, you have macroeconomic fundamentals. Secondly, if you look at the corporate earnings, if you look at the way everything is behaving, everything seems to be on a linear positive territory. That has created a lot of disposable income compared with pre-COVID times. COVID के time पे काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें readjust और restructure हुई हैं. उसकी वजह से जो latent demand थी, that demand has come back, because of which in a lot of markets pricing has gone up significantly. And I think that is my worry, that pricing, we are outpricing the product from the market. Sooner rather than later, I think we will see either a stagnation like what Mumbai saw in the decade, the 2010 to 2020, the pricing was just not going up. It was a huge time correction that we all saw. So barring a few locations, I think most of the locations, the pricing has really gone up significantly. NCR is another country altogether. The numbers that they talk about are heady. I just don't understand how are they doing the kind of volumes that they're doing in NCR today with the numbers. It is very hard to believe, right? So from a demand supply standpoint, there is a lot of supply. I think supply is another thing that worries me. So given all of these things, it is a cyclical industry. We are in the positive end of the cycle. The 4 most dangerous words. This time it's different. I don't think it is. I think it is, we are in the positive end of the cycle. It will play out and some or the other factor will come in. Now, whether it is a geopolitical factor, with all the wars that are going on, whether it is the recession in the US, whether it is the transfer of power between China and US and the friction that it's going to create in the whole world, who knows what the factor is going to be. But there will be some factor that will come and affect us, and then suddenly, the cycle will turn. So, yeah.
Good. So जहाँ सुनील ने absolute close to the mother earth बात शुरू की थी, आप पूरे दुनिया में फैला चुके हमारे real estate को, we started comparing with what's happening in Americas and whatever. अब Girish, and it's going to be challenging. It's going to be very, I'm sorry, I'm asking a few questions which you may not like me to talk about. अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बात निकली जब चारू बता रही थी कि warehousing sector is doing fabulously well, etc. Is that true? आज से 4 साल पहले तक warehousing sector का बोलबाला गजब था, लेकिन आज is it the same thing? Have the things, okay, since we're talking about property cycle, etc., and this is one of the asset classes, I will definitely talk about your stint with Godrej, but right now, in the middle of warehousing, do you think, are we still in that mode that 3 years back we were enjoying? And another question related to that is slightly strategic in nature. वो जब समय था और जब भी रियल एस्टेट पे डाउन साइड आता है तो जो डेवलपर होते हैं दे स्टार्ट लुकिंग आउट फॉर अदर एसेट क्लासेस. आज से 15 साल पहले एल्डर से सीनियर लिविंग का भी बड़ा चर्चा चला था. स्टूडेंट हाउसिंग इस दरमियान बीच में शुरू हुआ, फिर कोविड में कोलैप्स हो चुका ऑलमोस्ट. उसी समय वेयर हाउसिंग भी उछला. लेकिन ठीक है, दूसरी तरफ काफ़ी सारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इंप्रूवमेंट हुए हैं, रोड्स, सिंगल टैक्सेशन रेजीम, काफ़ी सारी इंप्रूवमेंट्स भी हुई हैं. लेकिन वॉज दैट गुड इनफ ऑफ अ रीजन फॉर अ फ्यू ऑफ द प्रोमिनेंट otherwise residential real estate developer to jump on to warehousing? And going forward, do you believe it will continue or the serious players will remain in warehousing? Over to you, Girish.
Thank you, Zia. So look, first of all, as everybody mentioned, right, real estate is cyclical. And we should not paint the same brush to the same every asset class. Every asset class is different. Residential is different from commercial. Commercial is different from data center. Data center is different from warehousing. But we are in such a phase that actually everything is in a bull cycle. Residential is doing well, commercial is doing well, data centers is doing well, co-living is doing well, and warehousing is also doing well. Now let me specifically address your question on warehousing. So look, warehousing, people don't understand it that well. People think that it's a very easy asset class where the barriers to entry are limited. But if you actually go deeper, you realize it's a very, very specialized asset class. It's a play on India's consumption. And India's consumption is driven by probably 10 to 12 cities, right? As in India's per capita income increases, you need more warehouses, you need better warehouses to support the supply chain. Now, to answer your question, let's look at data. The amount of capital flow in warehousing this year, last year, and previous year has been higher than commercial and residential. That's one data point. Second data point, even when there was cyclical slowdown in residential because of the price rise, or there were temporary headwinds in commercial because of work from home or SEZ notifications or COVID-related headwinds, etc., this sector has been in a structural bull run, which has also been demonstrated by not only by pricing action, but also volume. This quarter, I think we leased about 7 to 8 million square feet of gross leasing, which is about 30 to 40% higher than last year, in spite of whatever happened and in spite of both macro and micro situation. Thirdly, look at the demand. Now, demand has also become really diversified. You have demand from e-commerce, you have demand from 3PL. Now, you also have demand for manufacturing. The entire China Plus story is actually playing very well, wherein the manufacturing demand is actually coming, right? And also, warehousing is not one composite asset class. It has multiple elements, right? On one hand, you have first mile business, which is a 3 hours or 4 hour delivery. But there are also other segments which are even doing far better. Look at what's happening in the last mile delivery. Actually, we are, in a way, making a very specialized product in Thane, which is one of its kind, where we are trying to mix 4 asset classes into one. There is retail, there is office, there is hospitality and warehouse, all in one, just to service the last mile delivery. So that's also being depicted by the growth rates of either Blinkit or Zepto or Amazon. That demand is exponential, right? We're also making a product to support the EXIM demand. We just bought a land in JNPA. So if you create innovation, if you understand the customers really well, we will be able to do really well in this sector. And also, warehousing is also actually going through a phase wherein the shift is moving from grade B to grade A. For example, the grade A warehousing percentage in the total warehousing was about 10% about 5 years back. Now it's already 40–50%. So the same story which has played in residential and commercial consolidations, non-compliant players going out of market. So it will be more institutional players who understand transparency, who understand fiduciary, who understand the customers, and who design well. So that is where eventually there will be massive consolidation, and probably 8 or 10 or 12 key players will be left.
So the question, and quickly, and we have very little time. I think we only have 10 minutes, and I don't want to take a lot of time on this, but my question was again earlier, कि एक डेवलपर जो मुंबई में 1.5 लाख रुपए स्क्वायर फीट वाली जगह बना रहा है, should he be in 15 रुपए स्क्वायर फीट वाला रेंट प्रॉपर्टी?
I don't think so. I think warehousing is a very, very specialized business.
And another, something which Amber started with, while the other two speakers didn't focus so much on price rise, I thought prices have been stagnant in warehousing, not rising, unlike any other asset classes where there's a rise.
That's true. That is a fact. For the last couple of years, while the volumes have played a part, but the price rise has not happened. But look, our view is very bullish. I think it's a matter of time. The per square feet cost of a warehousing project is sub 4,000 rupees. And look, today customers are wanting for quality. They're wanting to move to compliant warehouses. And the entire shift from grade B to grade A will actually, hopefully in 12 to 18 months, the price rise will happen.
Great. Okay, so 10 ही मिनट बचे हैं. मैं जैसे मैंने कहा था 30 में से 10 बचे हैं. अब इसमें 9. Yes, thank you. 8. So let's make it a quick fire round. और इसमें आप लोगों का, and once again,
this comparison what you did,
yeah, please,
is little apple to oranges. I'll tell you why. Warehousing and commercial is B2B business.
जी.
Residential is B2C business. B2C business has got a very different approach for pricing. The behavioral factors involved into selecting a house, which is a dream home, is very different. And people pay price for the value they get. And there is a price value gap. If they expect, because always value is equal to price plus noise, correct? Or minus noise. If the noise is nil, then for the same price you get more value. It's perceived value. In case of B2B businesses, it's a business rationale. And if there is no business rationale for a 13 rupee warehouse is available at 35 rupees, it's not about his choice and sentiments or the amenities or facilities you are going to give, or the same thing is the rentals. So my sense is that they are very apple and oranges. The behavioral pattern is very different in decision making.
Sure. No, very important point that you're highlighting, and that exactly is the reason why sentiment plays a huge role in residential real estate and not so much in, say, commercial or other asset classes, which is very evident and point well made. तो अभी अगले 1-2 मिनट में आप सबका एक पर्सपेक्टिव में लेना चाहूँगा, because we're talking about the property cycle. Let us give our perspectives where we believe the property cycle is right now. Because we're talking about sentiments, कितना समय बाकी रहा, अगले 2 साल चले, 4 साल चले, पता नहीं. तो अगर हम प्रॉपर्टी साइकिल पर 1 या 2 मिनट बोलें हर शख्स, और उसमें अपना पर्सपेक्टिव बयान करने की कोशिश करें कि वी आर एट 8 o'clock पोजीशन, 9 o'clock और 12 o'clock. आपसे शुरू करते हैं सर, दोबारा सुनिए.
I am genuinely feeling that we as an industry is getting better, larger and more predictable. Erstwhile, the home buyer has no confidence that whether he'll get his house or not. Today, he is sure for sure that he knows which developer's crane is moving, whether the RERA will give me more clarity about the positions. And more we build, more the crane moves, more we become certain in giving homes. I don't see any reason why this property cycles will always be there, because this asset class is cyclical. Correct? That is one part. B part is, so I feel personally the spoiler is, as we rightly mentioned, is the affordability. Affordability comes from 2 things, interest rate and the price per square foot. And then intelligent people, if they do not understand that we exist because of customers, and houses are built for customers and not to a developer who always tried to say that he wanted to stay in the same building where his penthouse is there. That's a story. But I'm just saying, the fact is affordability is very important. Size, price and per square foot. The train at Noida, and I'll give you one example which I normally give. If we have a 1 crore rupees, when I was in ICICI Bank, if I have 1 crore rupees, by any manager of ICICI Bank, he'll buy 1 property in Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, wherever he is. But if he's 1 crore rupees there in the Delhi guy from ICICI Bank, he will buy 5 properties, 20, 20, 20, and he'll keep juggling the balls. So it is a future options market. It's more driven by touch and feel asset class. And so they rightly do for their own reasons. And 5 states are coming there. So prices at that part of the market is really worrying. It is too early, too fast. Hence the sugar levels are very high at this point of time there, because you have eaten very fast. So my sense is that cycle wise, I don't see, we can't crystal gaze, but I don't see the next 3-4 years at least for a reasonable growth of the industry. if the economy is going to grow at, say, 11%, which is 7 plus 4 nominal GDP growth, this industry to grow twice the size of the nominal GDP growth is not something a challenge.
तो ये आपने फिर भी वो सवाल का क्रिस्प आंसर नहीं दिया. 8, 9, 10, 11 कितने बज रहे हैं इस समय? Your property clock में where are we? Are we at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock?
Maybe हम लोग 3-4 बजे हैं अभी.
4 बजे हैं. So we have a long way to go. Good. So Charu, आपका perspective on sentiments as well as where are we on the clock?
So, you know, I mean, last year the property values were skyrocketing and I thought, wow, they can't go higher. And then this year the launches have been even higher, right? Our economic indicators are great if we were not to take the geopolitics into the consideration. I think a minor upward, scope is still there if we're talking only of residential. I don't think it'll be a massive thing, but I think a little bit growth is still possible in the market.
So
yeah.
It is continuing the growth. So is it 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock or 10 to 11? We haven't peaked out is what all of us want.
Yes, that's right.
So we still have a way. अगर हम कह रहे हैं कि अगले 2 साल तक और ये पार्टी चलती रहेगी, तो we would be somewhere about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock position, and the prices will go up, the property cycle will go up.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
आपका क्या perspective है, Girish?
So my view is like every asset classes behaves differently. I think residential, I believe that we are closer to peak, primarily because the price, as Amber was mentioning, the price rise has been so steep that we have outpriced the product. So we may see temporary pauses before the market consolidates and moves to the uprise. That's on the residential. So residential, we are closer to 8, 9 in my view. But other asset classes like warehousing, data centers, or office, I think we're just scratching the surface, and we are almost at the beginning of the upcycle.
Okay. अच्छा एक एंगल नाउ बिकॉज अंबर आप पिछली बार जब आप अपना सबमिशन कर रहे थे यू स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग अबाउट द ग्लोबल पर्सपेक्टिव. कुछ डेटा पॉइंट जो रिसेंटली मेरे कानों में पड़े जो मैं आई एम श्योर आप सभी उसके बारे में कुछ कहना चाहोगे कि आई वाज रीडिंग सम नंबर दैट ईमार दिस ईयर इज गोइंग टू क्लॉक 65 to 70,000 crore top line. Okay, let's absorb that. And in India, the biggest, I would want to believe DLF is talking about 25 to 30. A country, 25 to 30 currently looking like, and the projections would be growing up. We're talking about an Emaar, which is catering to a Dubai, and we're talking about a DLF. And today, of course, we have at least five such developers who have crossed 20,000 top line numbers. Why is there such a huge gap? Why can't we create, or maybe a DLF or a Lodhas or whatever, look at crossing 1 lakh crore mark? Why are we still hovering 20-25 और हम कह रहे हैं कि property cycle शायद already signals दे रहा है कि हम उस मुकाम तक पहुंच रहे हैं. So what is taking us? And we are saying we are a huge big economy. Why are we still not? Since we brought in this quick one from the market perspective, cycle wise, where are we? And why is such an anomaly? Why India can't breach those numbers that an Emaar can?
So, property clockwise?
Just एक ही बार बताता हूँ for audience because not many of them track capital market, but I do track because part of my business is also capital market. Last year, the Nifty Realty Index has given 109% return. So, just to give you the smell test of optimism and positivity also comes from when this business started generating actual free cash flows. You'll start seeing the reciprocation from the investors, not only the end customer for this industry.
Yeah, and that's very important point कि जब 109% ग्रोथ हुई है तब हम 22 से 25 हज़ार करोड़ टॉप रेवेन्यू की बात कर रहे हैं, 30 की बात कर रहे हैं. जब वो श्रिंक होने लगेगा, where will we be? And that's what gives me, a sense of dissatisfaction कि इतना बड़ा मुल्क है, वो एक छोटी सी कंट्री है जो शायद मुंबई के साइज की होगी, वहाँ का डेवलपर आज आपसे 3 गुना बड़ा है और हमारा एक भी डेवलपर उस साइज पर नहीं पहुँच पा रहा है. So something which we have to ponder over, please, your perspective.
So property clockwise, I'm at 9 o'clock. I think interest rate reductions will happen. The kind of money that is flowing into the country, the stock market, the way it's going, and so on and so forth. I think we're at 9 o'clock. We'll continue for a little while. As far as Dubai is concerned, A, it's a global market. B, we keep forgetting, we keep talking about India becoming the 3rd largest economy, GDP, market cap ratios, and so on and so forth. So first on that market cap bit, the 109% growth in the realty index, that is an indication of the developers' profits and the growth of developers' profits. This is not an indication of the consumer and the buyer and the, you know, so not the sales bit, two different things. I think we keep forgetting we are a very, very low per capita income market. In India, our per capita income is what, $2,700, $2,800 per annum, right? Dubai is in mid-50s, 50,000 I mean, mid-50,000s, right? Plus it's a global market. They are marketing it as a hub and therefore everybody from everywhere comes in and buys property out there. That is point number one. Point number two, I think, and this is something which I was reading, Ghulam, and you should either correct me or produce some alternate research on that. I think, you know, we are already at 80% home ownership in this country. When you talk about tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns, you know, the self-constructed houses, the single-story, low-rise, when you talk about the government initiatives on free house to everybody, I was reading some research which said that we are in 80%, our people, already 80% of the people in this country, or households in the country, own a home. Unfortunately, people sitting on this panel, we keep focusing on these top 6 cities. And the top 6 cities, a large part of the people are migratory population, which has come here. All of us, I think, Sunil, apart from you probably, or you as well. You were in Delhi earlier, right? All of us in Mumbai are migratory people. So this is not where... Exactly, right? So my point is, on the one end, you are saying that 80% of people own their own homes. On the other end, the dichotomy is your GDP and mortgage percentage is still 10% or thereabouts when you compare it to every... Why Dubai? If you look at China, right? China, they sell over 1 crore apartments every year. Right now, China is a bad word in real estate. And
they are at 30% of real estate in their GDP. We are at 7% of real estate of GDP. So there's a vast difference. So let's not compare China with India. My only reason, and perhaps this is only for me, to feel some aspiration should flow in. कि अगर Emaar can, why can't DLF?
I'll tell you in simple terms, and in the morning I was talking to, again, the set of people. DLF got listed in October 2006. The stock price was 10 rupee, face value stock price was 512. On a higher side, it went to something like 1200, correct? And the market cap has crossed 2 lakh crore. After 2006 to 2023 is the only year they could able to see that number. These case studies of Mumbai city, the developer who 3-4 years back got listed, have tried 2006, tried 2014. First time it was 35,000 market cap expectation, then 25,000 crore market expectation, finally went into 18,000 crore market expectation with 18,000 crore debt. Okay. Exactly after 3 years, the debt is 3,000, debt is 6,000, which is three times less, correct? And market cap is from 20,000, it becomes 6 times more. So 3 times lesser debt. Market understand this, that the profit, EBITDA margin, and I always classically used to say that Indian developers, the EBITDA was, only I was there, me and my interest and Meri Tanai. But today, the first time that we have earnings and positive cash flows. Deleveraging, today the largest, you look at the top cities and the top developers, the listed developers, their market share in this organized market is continuously on rise quarter on quarter, correct? They are deleveraged big time. First time in my life as a banker, I've never given money to developer at 8%, 8.5%, 9% types. Forget about the leased properties, I mean development properties. Today that is available at 9.5% to developer. When did this happen in this country? That clearly means we are hypocritical about our A, we don't believe 8 trillion. B, we don't believe that our GSEC. I grown up at a GSEC of 9.5% whole my life. The GSEC first time in our life is going to be closer to maybe between 5 and 6. If you don't really believe the story, then everything is going to be with a color lens. So I'm not saying that it's very optimistic view. We have to be always cautious because we are realistic.
Great. So I have already am getting some chits कि भाई आपका समय समाप्त हो चुका है. So let us wrap it up, and I don't know if the audience could get the feel with this panel discussion. सवाल हमारे सामने यही था जब हमने शुरुआत की थी कि भाई sentiments कैसे हैं और confidence कैसा है, investor confidence. Both these things, the answer is positive. While there are some word of cautions coming up from a few educated and learned individuals who know this market very well. Well, I hate that cautious optimism thing. Junk it. So overall, it's a great position to be in. And to me, as I said, it's extremely important to see this industry grow. Maybe हमारे शायद professional retirement के पहले 5-6 साल 7 साल रह चुके होंगे हमारे, लेकिन शायद हमारे बच्चे वो better time enjoy करेंगे. But we are up to it. And that is where I would want to close it, that it's a very positive sentiment. अगले 2-3 साल तक तो we are not looking back. So here it is, a good note to stop this discussion. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you so much to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Can I please request all of you to give them a bigger round of applause?